it's not your home anymore. That's what my husband said to me, standing in our driveway, hands in his pockets, smirking like he'd just won something. He sold our house, the one I'd poured 5 years of my life into, the one with my name on the deed, and he didn't tell me until the papers were signed. I didn't scream. I didn't cry. I just smiled, turned around, and walked away. A week later, he found out who bought it. My name is Claire. I'm 32 years old, a forensic accountant, and I lived, in a quiet suburb outside Seattle. I trace money for a living. Hidden accounts, shell companies, fraudulent transactions. I find them all. It's meticulous work. It requires patience and a very, very good memory. I should have seen it coming. Not the house. That blindsided me. But the rest of it, the slow unraveling of my marriage, I saw every thread pull loose one by one, and I told myself it was fine. We were fine. We weren't. David and I met 7 years ago at a company mixer. He worked in commercial real estate development, big projects, luxury condos, downtown revitalization initiatives. He had this energy about him, like he was always closing a deal, even when he was just ordering coffee. I liked that. I liked that he was ambitious, driven, a little cocky. I thought it balanced me out. I was the careful one, the one who read the fine print. He proposed after a year. We bought the house after 2. It was a beautiful house. A craftsman-style bungalow with original hardwood floors, a wraparound porch, and a backyard big enough for the garden I always wanted. It needed work, a lot of work. But that was the point. We were going to restore it together, make it ours. I refinished the floors myself, stripped decades of varnish, sanded by hand, sealed them with 3 coats of polyurethane. I repainted every room. I tore out the rotting deck and rebuilt it with pressure-treated lumber, watching YouTube tutorials at midnight because David was always too busy to help. I planted roses, lavender, a small vegetable patch. I learned how to tile a backsplash, how to replace a garbage disposal, how to fix a running toilet without calling a plumber. David watched. He complimented. He took photos for his Instagram, but he never picked up a hammer. "You're so good at this stuff, babe," he'd say, scrolling through his phone while I was on my knees grouting tile. I'd just mess it up. I believed him. I thought I was doing us both a favor. The problem started about a year ago. Small things at first. He started working later, missing dinners, coming home smelling like expensive whiskey and someone else's perfume. When I asked, he'd laugh it off. "Client meeting," he'd say. "You know how it is." I did know. I worked long hours too. But I also knew the difference between a client meeting and a lie. I didn't push. I told myself I was being paranoid, that I was letting my job, my career of suspicion and skepticism, bleed into my personal life. So I pulled back. I gave him space. I focused on the house, on my work, on keeping everything together. Then, 3 months ago, he started talking about selling. "We've outgrown this place," he said one night over dinner. I'd made roasted chicken, garlic mashed potatoes, green beans. He barely touched it. "We should upgrade, get something bigger, modern." I frowned. "I love this house." "I know you do, but it's not an investment, Claire. It's a money pit. It's our home." He sighed, that patronizing little exhale that made my jaw tighten. "You're emotional about it. I get that. But we need to think long-term." I am thinking long-term. This house is paid off in 8 years. After that, it's pure equity. Equity doesn't matter if the market crashes. The market's not going to... You don't know that. I stopped arguing. I'd learned by then that David didn't actually want a conversation. He wanted agreement. And when he didn't get it, he'd just wait me out, circle back later with the same points. Like I'd forget we'd already talked about it. But I didn't forget. I never forget. 2 months ago, he brought it up again. This time, he had a buyer, a developer friend of his, someone who loved the neighborhood and was willing to pay above market value. He showed me the offer on his phone. It was generous. I'll give him that. More than I expected. We could be debt-free, he said, his eyes bright with that old energy. Start fresh. Buy something new. No repairs, no maintenance. Just us. I looked at the number. Then I looked at him. No. His face fell. Claire, I said no. Why are you being so stubborn about this? Because it's my house too, and I'm not selling. He stared at me for a long moment. Then he smiled, that same smirk from the driveway. Okay, he said. Okay, we won't sell. I should have known better. I came home from work on a Thursday. It was late, almost 7. I'd been tracking a series of offshore accounts tied to a tax evasion case, and I was close to cracking it. My head was still half in spreadsheets when I pulled into the driveway and saw the sign. Sold. Big red letters, right there on the lawn. I sat in my car for a full minute staring at it. My heart was pounding, but my mind was eerily calm, detached. Like I was watching myself from somewhere else. I got out, walked up to the porch. The front door was open. Inside, I could hear voices, David's and someone else's, a woman's. I stepped inside. David was in the living room with a blonde woman in a pencil skirt and heels. A realtor, I assumed. They were laughing about something. He saw me and his face shifted, just slightly. Guilt, maybe, or annoyance. Hey, babe, he said, too casually. Didn't think you'd be home yet. I looked at the woman. She smiled at me, polite and professional. You must be Claire. Congratulations on the sale. I didn't respond. I looked back at David. What is this? He cleared his throat. I was going to tell you. What is this? The realtor's smile faltered. She glanced between us, sensing the shift in the room. David sighed. I sold the house. You sold the house. Yes, without telling me. I tried to tell you. You wouldn't listen. My hands were shaking. I crossed my arms to hide it. My name is on the deed, David. So is mine. You can't sell a house without both signatures. He shrugged. I can if I have power of attorney. The room tilted. What? He pulled a piece of paper from his jacket pocket, unfolded it, handed it to me. It was a power of attorney document, signed by me. Except I'd never signed it. I stared at my signature at the bottom of the page. It looked real. It looked exactly like my signature. But I had no memory of signing this. None. When did I sign this? I asked quietly. A few months ago. You were half asleep. I needed it for some paperwork. What paperwork? Does it matter? I looked up at him. His face was neutral, casual, like he'd just told me he'd picked up milk on the way home. You forged my signature. I didn't forge anything. You signed it. I didn't... Claire. His voice was sharp now, irritated. The house is sold. The deal is done. You need to accept that. The realtor was edging toward the door. I barely noticed. This is fraud, I said. It's not fraud. It's marriage, community property. I had every right to sell. Not without my consent. You're being dramatic, I laughed. I actually laughed. It surprised even me. David frowned. What's so funny? Nothing. I folded the paper and slipped it into my purse. When do we close? He blinked, caught off guard. 2 weeks. And where are we moving? I found a place downtown, a condo. You'll love it. I'm sure I will. He smiled, relieved, like he'd just dodged a bullet. I knew you'd come around. I smiled back. Yeah, I came around. I walked out of the house, my house, and got in my car. I sat there for a moment, hands on the wheel, staring at the sold sign, Then I pulled out my phone and made a call. "Hey, Rachel. It's Claire. I need a favor." Rachel is my older sister. She's a real estate attorney. She's also the only person in my family who doesn't think I'm too serious or too intense. She gets me, and more importantly, she gets the law. "What's going on?" she asked. I could hear her kids screaming in the background. "David sold our house." "What? When?" "Today, without telling me." "Claire, he can't do that without—" "He forged a power of attorney." Silence. "Are you sure?" "I'm looking at it right now. My signature. I never signed it." "Jesus Christ." She exhaled. "Okay, send me a photo. I'll take a look." I snapped a picture and sent it. A minute later, she called back. "This is fraud, Claire. Clear cut. If you can prove you didn't sign it, the sale is void." "Can I prove it?" "Do you have any documents with your real signature? Recent ones?" "Dozens. I'm a forensic accountant. I sign things every day." "Good. Send me 5 or 6 samples. I'll get them to a handwriting analyst." "How long will that take?" "A week, maybe less." I nodded, even though she couldn't see me. "Okay. Claire." Her voice softened. "Are you okay?" "I'm fine." "Do you need a place to stay?" "No, I'm staying here. It's still my house." "For now." "For now." I hung up and stared at the sold sign again. Then I smiled. David came home late that night. I was in the kitchen, drinking tea, reading a case file. He looked surprised to see me. "Thought you'd be in bed," he said. "Couldn't sleep." He opened the fridge, grabbed a beer. "You're taking this better than I thought." "Am I?" "Yeah. I mean, I know you love this place, but change is good, right? Fresh start." I sipped my tea. "Who bought it?" He hesitated, just for a second. "A developer. Friend of mine, I told you." "What's his name?" "Why?" "Just curious." He shrugged. "Mark Sullivan. He's flipping it." "Probably tear it down, build something new." I nodded slowly. "Tear it down." "Yeah, that's the plan." "Huh," he frowned. "What?" "Nothing, just interesting." He stared at me for a moment like he was trying to read me. Then he gave up. "I'm going to bed. Good night, David." He left. I stayed in the kitchen staring at my tea. Mark Sullivan. I opened my laptop and pulled up the county property records. It took me less than 5 minutes to find him. Mark Sullivan, owner of Sullivan Development LLC, multiple properties across King County, a few foreclosures, a lien from 2 years ago, a lawsuit from a subcontractor. Interesting. I opened another window and logged into my work database. It's technically against policy to use it for personal reasons, but I'm very good at covering my tracks. I ran his name through our system. Mark Sullivan had 3 LLCs. 2 were clean. The third, Sullivan Holdings, had some unusual activity. Large cash deposits, irregular transfers. A pattern I recognized immediately. He was laundering money. I leaned back in my chair and smiled. David had just sold our house to a criminal, and he had no idea what I was about to do with that information. I didn't sleep that night. I sat at the kitchen table until 3 in the morning, my laptop glowing in the dark, pulling thread after thread. Mark Sullivan wasn't just laundering money, he was doing it badly. Sloppy transfers between accounts. Cash deposits just under the reporting threshold. Classic structuring, the kind of thing that gets flagged immediately if anyone's actually looking. And I was looking. Sullivan Holdings LLC had received over $2 million in the past 18 months from shell companies registered in Delaware and Nevada. The money moved in irregular chunks. $30,000 here, $45,000 there, always just under $50,000 to avoid automatic currency transaction reports. It flowed into Sullivan Holdings, sat for a week or 2, then got transferred out to legitimate business accounts. Construction suppliers, payroll, subcontractors, clean money, washed and dried. I traced the shell companies backward. They were tied to a series of limited partnerships that owned commercial properties in Tacoma and Spokane. Properties that, according to public records, were owned by a man named Vincent Kozlov. I recognized the name immediately. Vincent Kozlov had been under federal investigation 3 years ago for racketeering and wire fraud. The case fell apart when a key witness disappeared. Not dead, just gone. Relocated, probably. The investigation went cold. Kozlov walked away clean, but he hadn't stopped. He'd just gotten smarter. And Mark Sullivan, David's friend, the man who'd just bought my house, was helping him move dirty money through real estate transactions. I sat back and stared at the screen. David had sold our house to a man laundering money for a mobster. I should have felt afraid. I should have felt something. But all I felt was cold, sharp clarity. This was leverage. The next morning, I called in sick to work. I never call in sick. My boss sounded genuinely concerned. "You okay, Claire?" "Just a migraine. I'll be fine tomorrow. Take the day. Rest." I hung up and made coffee. Strong, black, the way I used to drink it in grad school when I had 3 exams in 1 week. I needed to think. David had already left for work. He'd kissed me on the forehead on his way out, like nothing had happened. Like he hadn't just stolen my house out from under me. "See you tonight, babe," he'd said. I'd smiled. "See you." Now I stood at the window, watching the morning light hit the garden I'd planted. The roses were blooming. The tomatoes were starting to ripen. I'd spent hours out there, digging in the dirt, pulling weeds, pruning and watering and feeding. It was mine. All of it. And David thought he could just take it away. I pulled out my phone and called Rachel. "Hey," she said. "I was just about to call you. I got the handwriting analysis back." My heart jumped. "And?" "It's a forgery, not even a good one. Whoever did it tried to match your signature, but the pressure points are wrong. The angle's off. It's definitely not yours." "Can we use it?" "Absolutely. I'm drafting a motion to void the sale right now. We'll file it Monday morning." "How long until we get a hearing?" 2 weeks. Maybe 3. Depends on the docket. "And in the meantime?" "In the meantime, the sale's on hold. I'll get an injunction. David can't transfer the title until this is resolved." I exhaled. "Thank you." "Claire." Her voice was serious now. "You need to be careful. If David forged your signature, that's a felony. He could go to prison." "I know. Do you want him to go to prison?" I paused. Did I? A week ago, I would have said no. A week ago, I would have said he made a mistake. He got desperate. He didn't think it through. I would have made excuses for him because that's what I'd been doing for years. But standing in the kitchen of the house I'd rebuilt with my own hands, looking at the garden I'd planted, the floors I'd refinished, the life I'd built. "Yes," I said quietly. "I think I do." Rachel was silent for a moment. "Okay, then we do this the right way. Legal, clean, no shortcuts." "Agreed. I'll call you Monday after I file." I hung up and stared at my phone. Legal, clean, no shortcuts. But that didn't mean I couldn't make things. Uncomfortable. I spent the rest of the day digging deeper into Mark Sullivan's finances. It was easy, almost too easy. The man kept terrible records. His LLCs were a mess of overlapping transactions, circular transfers, and fake invoicing. I found 3 properties he'd sold to himself through shell companies, inflating the values each time to justify the cash moving through his accounts. It was a classic real estate laundering scheme. Buy a property cheap, sell it to yourself for triple the price using dirty money, then flip it again to a legitimate buyer. The dirty money comes out clean, and Sullivan takes a cut. David's sale of our house fit the pattern perfectly. Sullivan had offered 20% above market value. That wasn't generosity. That was inflated pricing to justify a large cash transaction. He'd buy our house with Kozlov's money, hold it for a few months, then flip it to a real buyer. The difference would get kicked back to Kozlov, minus Sullivan's fee. And David had walked right into it. I wondered if he knew. If he understood what kind of deal he'd made. Probably not. David didn't ask questions. He saw an opportunity and he took it. That was how he operated. Fast, aggressive, confident. He thought being bold was the same as being smart. It wasn't. I pulled up the sale agreement David had signed. He'd sent me a copy via email 2 days ago, probably trying to make it look legitimate, like I'd been involved the whole time. I read through it carefully, looking for weaknesses, and I found one. The agreement included a standard buyer default clause. If Mark Sullivan failed to complete the purchase, if he didn't secure financing, or if the title was found to be defective, or if he backed out for any reason, David would keep the deposit, but the sale would be voided. The deposit was $50,000. I smiled. David came home around 7. He was in a good mood, probably because he thought he'd gotten away with it. He brought takeout, Thai food from the place we used to go to when we were dating. "Thought we'd celebrate," he said, setting the bags on the counter. "Celebrate what?" "New beginnings. Fresh start." He pulled out containers, pad thai, green curry, spring rolls. "I know this has been hard for you, Claire, but I really think this is the right move." I watched him unpack the food. He was smiling, relaxed. He thought we were fine. "Where's the condo?" I asked. "Downtown, Belltown, 20th floor. Amazing view." "How much?" $450 a month. I blinked. "You want us to pay $4,500 a month in rent?" "It's an investment in our lifestyle." "David, we own this house. Our mortgage is $1,800 a month." Was $1,800 a month, past tense. He handed me a plate. "Come on, let's eat." I took the plate. I didn't argue. I just smiled and nodded and ate my pad thai while he talked about the condo, the gym, the rooftop deck, the wine bar on the ground floor. He didn't notice I wasn't saying anything. He never did. After dinner, he went upstairs to take a shower. I stayed in the kitchen and opened my laptop. I pulled up Mark Sullivan's contact information, his business email, his cell phone, his office address. Then I drafted an email. Subject: Concerns regarding 428 Maple Street purchase. Mr. Sullivan. My name is Claire Hendricks. I'm the co-owner of the property at 428 Maple Street, which you recently agreed to purchase from my husband, David Hendricks. I'm writing to inform you that the sale agreement you signed is currently under legal review due to irregularities in the title transfer process. Specifically, my signature on the power of attorney document used to authorize the sale has been identified as fraudulent by a certified handwriting analyst. As a result, my attorney will be filing a motion to void the sale on Monday morning. An injunction will be requested to prevent any further transfer of the property title until the matter is resolved in court. I wanted to inform you directly as a courtesy so that you can make appropriate arrangements with your financing and legal team. I apologize for any inconvenience this may cause. Best regards, Claire Hendricks, forensic accountant. I read it over 3 times, professional, polite, devastating. Then I hit send. I didn't hear back from Sullivan that night, but the next morning, Saturday, my phone rang at 8 a.m. unknown number. I answered. "Mrs. Hendricks?" A man's voice, calm, controlled. "This is Claire Hendricks. My name is Mark Sullivan. I received your email. I thought you might. I'd like to meet with you. Today, if possible." "Why?" "Because I think we can resolve this without involving the courts." I paused. "I'm listening." "There's a coffee shop on Pine Street, Slate Coffee. Can you meet me there at 10? I checked the time. It was 8:15. "I'll be there." "Thank you." He hung up. I sat on the edge of the bed, staring at my phone. David was still asleep, snoring softly. I watched him for a moment. His face was peaceful, untroubled. He had no idea what was coming. Slate Coffee was a small, industrial-style cafe in Capitol Hill. Exposed brick, Edison bulbs, overpriced lattes. I got there early and ordered a black coffee. I sat in the back corner with a clear view of the door. Mark Sullivan arrived at exactly 10. He was younger than I expected. Mid-40s, maybe. Tall, lean, wearing a navy blazer and jeans. He looked like every other Seattle developer I'd ever met. Confident. Successful. Slightly too tan for the Pacific Northwest. He spotted me and walked over. "Mrs. Hendricks." "Mr. Sullivan." He sat down without asking. "Thank you for meeting me. I'm curious why you wanted to." He smiled. It was a professional smile, the kind you use in negotiations. "Your email was very clear, very direct. I appreciate that. I work with numbers. I don't see the point in ambiguity." "Neither do I." He leaned back in his chair. "So let's be direct. You're right. The power of attorney was forged. Your husband signed it without your knowledge or consent. The sale is void." I kept my face neutral. "You're not disputing it?" "No, I'm not." He sipped his coffee. "But I'd like to make you an offer." "What kind of offer?" "I'll withdraw from the purchase. I'll return your husband's deposit in full, and I'll pay you $50,000 in cash, a settlement fee, let's call it, for the inconvenience." I raised an eyebrow. "Why would you do that?" "Because a legal fight is expensive, time-consuming, and ultimately, I'll lose, so I'm offering you an easy way out." "And what do you get?" "I get to walk away quietly. No lawsuits, no publicity, no questions." I studied him. He was calm, too calm. This wasn't about the house. This was about something else. "You're laundering money," I said quietly. His face didn't change. "I have no idea what you're talking about." "Sullivan Holdings LLC, 17 shell companies, $2 million in structured deposits over 18 months, all tied to Vincent Kozlov." Now his face changed, just slightly, a tightening around the eyes. "You've been busy," he said. "I'm a forensic accountant. It's what I do." He was silent for a long moment. Then he leaned forward. "What do you want, Mrs. Hendricks?" "I want my house." "You already have your house. The sale's void." "I want my house, and I want you to disappear. No contact with my husband, no deals, no business. You walk away and you don't come back." He nodded slowly. "And in exchange?" "In exchange, I don't report what I found to the IRS, or the FBI, or the Treasury Department's Financial Crimes Enforcement Network." His jaw tightened. "That sounds like blackmail." "It's not blackmail. It's a settlement, just like you offered me." He stared at me. I stared back. Finally, he smiled. A real smile this time, almost respectful. "You're good," he said. "I know." He stood up. "You'll have your settlement agreement by Monday. I'll withdraw from the sale by Tuesday." "And Kozlov?" "Kozlov is none of your concern." "Fair enough." He held out his hand. I shook it. "Pleasure doing business with you, Mrs. Hendricks." "Likewise." He walked out. I sat there for a long time, drinking my coffee, watching people walk by outside. My hands were shaking, not from fear, from adrenaline. I just blackmailed a criminal, and it had worked. I didn't tell David about the meeting. When I got home, he was watching football in the living room, drinking a beer. "Where were you?" he asked. "Coffee with Rachel." "How is she?" "Good. Busy." "Cool." That was it. He went back to the game. I went upstairs to our bedroom, the one I'd painted sage green, the one with the reading nook I'd built myself, and I pulled out my laptop. I opened a new document and started typing. Timeline of events. March 15. David begins pressuring me to sell the house. April 2010. David presents forged power of attorney. May 10th. David signed sale agreement with Mark Sullivan without my knowledge. May 17. I discover the sale. I hire Rachel. May 18th. Handwriting analysis confirms forgery. May 19th. I meet with Mark Sullivan. He agrees to withdraw. I stared at the screen. David thought he'd won. He thought he'd outsmarted me, controlled me, taken what was mine. He had no idea I'd already taken it back. But I wasn't done. Monday morning, Rachel called. I filed the motion. The injunction's in place. Sullivan can't touch the property. He's withdrawing, I said. What? I met with him. He's pulling out of the sale. Claire, what did you do? Nothing illegal. That's not an answer. He's withdrawing. That's all you need to know. She sighed. Okay, fine. I'll notify the court. The motion becomes moot once he officially withdraws. Good. But Claire, David still forged your signature. That's a crime. You could press charges. I know. Are you going to? I looked out the window at the garden. The roses were wilting. I needed to water them. Not yet, I said. David came home that night looking pale. Did you talk to Mark Sullivan today? I asked casually, chopping vegetables for dinner. He stared at me. How did you? Did you? Yeah, he's backing out of the sale. Why? He said there were title issues, that your signature was invalid. Huh, imagine that. David slammed his hand on the counter. What did you do, Claire? I looked up at him. I protected my property. Our property. No, David. My property. My name is on the deed. My money paid for the renovations. My work made this house worth anything. I set down the knife. You tried to steal it from me. I didn't steal. You forged my signature. That's fraud. That's a felony. His face went white. You can't prove that. Actually, I can. I had the document analyzed. The signature's fake, and I have an attorney ready to file charges if you push me. He was breathing hard now, panicking. Claire, baby, come on. Let's talk about this. We are talking about it. I made a mistake. I know that. But we can fix this. You're right. We can fix this. I smiled. Here's how. I pulled a piece of paper from my purse, a document I'd printed that afternoon. This is a quitclaim deed, I said. You're going to sign it. It transfers your share of the house to me, full ownership. You're insane. Sign it. Or I press charges. Your choice. He stared at me. His mouth opened, closed. You'd really send me to prison? Try me. We stood there in the kitchen, staring at each other. 5 years of marriage, 5 years of compromise, of bending, of letting things slide. I was done bending. Finally, he grabbed a pen and signed the deed. I watched his hand move across the paper. When he finished, I took it, folded it carefully, and slipped it back into my purse. Thank you, I said. He looked at me like he didn't recognize me. What happened to you? He whispered. I smiled. I stopped letting you take advantage of me. He left the kitchen. I heard him go upstairs, heard the bedroom door slam. I went back to chopping vegetables. 10 minutes later, I heard his footsteps on the stairs. The front door opened and closed. I walked to the window and watched him throw a duffel bag into his car. He didn't look back. He just got in and drove away. I stood there for a long time, watching the empty driveway. Then I went back to the kitchen and finished making dinner. Just for me. David didn't come back that night, or the next night, or the night after that. I didn't call him. I didn't text. I watered my garden, went to work, came home, made dinner. I slept in the middle of the bed for the first time in 7 years. I spread out. I took up space. It felt strange. Not bad, just strange. Like wearing new shoes that haven't been broken in yet. On the 4th day, Rachel called. David's attorney contacted me, she said. I was at my desk at work, reviewing a client's tax returns. I minimized the spreadsheet. David has an attorney? Apparently. Guy named Ron Bachman, works at a firm downtown. What does he want? He's claiming the quitclaim deed was signed under duress. He wants it voided. I leaned back in my chair. Did he mention the forged power of attorney? No. Interestingly, he didn't, because he knows David committed fraud. Exactly. So this is posturing. He's trying to scare you into negotiating. What did you tell him? I told him to file a motion if he wants to challenge it. Otherwise, the deed stands. Will he file? Rachel laughed. Not a chance. The second this goes in front of a judge, David's fraud comes out. He's not that stupid. Don't be so sure. She paused. Claire, are you okay? I'm fine. You don't sound fine. I'm better than fine. I'm free. Another pause. Okay, call me if you need anything. I hung up and stared at my computer screen. The spreadsheet swam in front of my eyes. Numbers, columns, patterns. Usually they calmed me. Today they just looked like noise. I closed my laptop and went home early. When I pulled into the driveway, there was a car I didn't recognize parked on the street. A silver Lexus. Expensive. New. I felt my shoulders tense. I parked and got out slowly, scanning the street. Everything looked normal. Quiet. The neighbor's dog was barking. A jogger passed by, earbuds in, oblivious. I walked up to the porch. The front door was locked. I checked twice. No signs of forced entry. I unlocked it and stepped inside. Hello? Nothing. I moved through the house room by room, living room, kitchen, dining room. Everything was exactly as I'd left it. I went upstairs. Bedroom, bathroom, guest room, empty. I was about to go back downstairs when I heard a noise from the backyard. I froze. Someone was in my garden. I crept to the bedroom window and looked down. A woman stood by the rose bushes, her back to me. She was tall, blonde, wearing dark jeans and a leather jacket. She was examining the flowers, her head tilted like she was appraising them. My blood went cold. I grabbed my phone and dialed 911. 911, what's your emergency? There's someone in my backyard. I don't know who she is. Are you in danger? I don't know. I'm inside. She's outside. Stay inside. Lock the doors. Officers are on the way. I hung up and watched the woman. She'd moved to the vegetable patch now, crouching down, running her fingers over the tomato plants. Who was she? Then she stood up and turned toward the house. I ducked back from the window, my heart pounding. 5 minutes later, I heard sirens. The police arrived with lights flashing. 2 officers. I met them at the front door. Ma'am, you called about an intruder? She's in the backyard. I don't know who she is. They moved quickly, hands on their belts. I stayed by the door, watching. One of the officers went around the side of the house. The other stayed with me. Has anyone threatened you recently? He asked. No, not exactly. What does that mean? I hesitated. My husband and I are separating. It's been complicated. He nodded, making notes. A minute later, the other officer came back. With the blonde woman. She wasn't handcuffed. She was smiling. Ma'am, the officer said, this is Emily Stratton. She says she's your husband's business partner. I stared at her. I've never heard of you. Emily's smile widened. That's because David likes to keep his personal and professional lives separate. I'm a real estate investor. David and I have been working together for about 6 months. What are you doing in my backyard? I wanted to see the property. David told me it's going on the market soon. It's not. Her smile faltered, just slightly. I'm sorry, he said. He was wrong. The house isn't for sale. It's mine. The officer looked between us. Ma'am, is there a threat here? No, Emily said quickly. No threat. I apologize for the confusion. I should have called first. She pulled a business card from her pocket and held it out to me. "If you change your mind about selling, please reach out. I'd love to make an offer." I didn't take the card. She set it on the porch railing. Again, I apologize. She walked to the Lexus and drove away. The officers stayed for another 10 minutes, asking questions, taking notes. When they finally left, I went inside and locked every door, every window. Then I picked up Emily's business card. Emily Stratton, Principal Investor, Stratton Property Group. I turned the card over. On the back, in handwritten pen, "Call me. We should talk. E." I stood there for a long time staring at it. Then I went to my laptop and searched her name. Emily Stratton wasn't hard to find. She had a professional website, a LinkedIn profile, a portfolio of properties she'd invested in. She looked legitimate, successful. She'd been in real estate for 12 years, specializing in high-value residential properties and commercial developments. And according to her LinkedIn, she'd started working with D. Hendricks Development Consultant 6 months ago. I clicked on David's profile. He'd updated it recently. His job title had changed from Senior Project Manager to Independent Development Consultant. His summary now read, "Specializing in high-value residential acquisitions and strategic property development partnerships." He'd started his own business, and he hadn't told me. I sat back, my mind racing. 6 months ago, that's when he'd started talking about selling the house. When he'd started working late, missing dinners, coming home smelling like expensive whiskey. He hadn't been cheating. He'd been building a business with Emily Stratton, and he'd tried to use our house as seed capital. I opened a new browser tab and searched David Hendricks Emily Stratton Property Development. The first result was a public filing with the Secretary of State's office. Hendricks Stratton Development, LLC. Registered, November 2024. Principals, David Hendricks, Emily Stratton. I clicked through to the documents. The LLC had been capitalized with $500, use your own dollars. David's contribution, $250, use your own dollars. Except David didn't have $250, use your own dollars, unless he'd planned to use the equity from our house, my house. I felt something cold and sharp settle in my chest. He'd tried to steal my house to fund his business, and Emily Stratton had been in on it. I picked up my phone and called Rachel. "I need you to run a full asset search on David. Bank accounts, investment accounts, credit cards, everything. Claire, I can't just..." He started a business, an LLC, with a woman named Emily Stratton. I need to know where he got the money. She was quiet for a moment. "Okay, give me 2 days. Thank you." I hung up and stared at Emily's business card. "Call me. We should talk." Oh, we were going to talk. The next morning, I called Emily Stratton. She answered on the second ring. "Emily Stratton. This is Claire Hendricks." A pause. Then, "Mrs. Hendricks, thank you for calling. You said we should talk." "I did. Are you free for lunch today?" "Where?" "There's a place called Canlis. Do you know it?" I did. Canlis was one of the most expensive restaurants in Seattle. White tablecloths, wine pairings, stunning views of Lake Union. It was where people went to celebrate promotions or close deals, or to show off. "I'll meet you there at noon," I said. "Perfect. I'll make a reservation." I hung up and stared at my closet. I dressed carefully. A charcoal suit, tailored, simple jewelry, minimal makeup. I wanted to look professional, competent, untouchable. I arrived at Canlis at 11:55. Emily was already there, seated at a window table, sipping sparkling water. She stood when she saw me. "Claire, thank you for coming." "Let's skip the pleasantries," I said, sitting down. "Why did you want to meet?" She smiled. It was a different smile than yesterday. Less performative, more genuine. "You're direct. I like that." "I don't have time for games." "Neither do I. She leaned forward. David told me the house was jointly owned and that you'd agreed to sell. He said you were on board with the whole thing. He lied. I figured. She sipped her water. He also told me he had a buyer lined up, Mark Sullivan. But Sullivan backed out last week. David won't tell me why. Sullivan backed out because the sale was fraudulent. David forged my signature. Emily's eyebrows rose. He forged your signature? Yes. Jesus. She sat back. I had no idea. Didn't you? You're his business partner. I'm his investor. There's a difference. She pulled a folder from her bag and slid it across the table. I put $250,000 into Hendricks Stratton Development. David was supposed to match it. He told me he had liquidity from a property sale. My house. Your house. She opened the folder. Inside were bank statements, wire transfer receipts, partnership agreements. Here's the problem. David hasn't contributed a dime. The LLC's account has my $250K and nothing else. No matching funds, no liquidity, just my money. I scanned the documents. She was right. The only deposits into the LLC account came from an account in Emily Stratton's name. Where did he say his money was? I asked. Tied up in escrow, from the house sale. He said it would clear in 2 weeks. The sale fell through 2 weeks ago. I know that, now. She closed the folder. Which is why I wanted to talk to you. David owes me $250,000, and I intend to collect. I studied her. She was calm, composed, but there was an edge to her voice, a hardness. What do you want from me? I asked. Information, assets, accounts, anything I can use to recover my investment. Why would I help you? Because David screwed both of us, and I'm guessing you want him to pay just as much as I do. The waiter appeared. We both ordered, salmon for her, steak for me, and he disappeared. Emily leaned forward again. Look, I know this is messy, but I'm not your enemy. I didn't know about the forgery. I didn't know he was lying to you. If I had, I never would have gone into business with him. But you did. Yes. And now I'm out $250,000. She paused. Unless you help me find it. I thought about Rachel's asset search, about the information I'd have in 2 days. What's in it for me? I asked. Leverage. If David has hidden assets, you're entitled to half. Community property. But you have to find them first. And if I find them, you get your money back. Exactly. And what do I get? She smiled. Revenge. We talked for 2 hours. Emily was smart, smarter than I'd expected. She'd done her due diligence on David before investing, but he'd lied to her about his financials. Fake bank statements, fabricated property deals, references from friends posing as former clients. He'd conned her, just like he'd conned me. By the time lunch was over, we had an agreement. I'd share whatever Rachel found in the asset search. Emily would use it to file a lawsuit against David for breach of contract and fraud. And if we found hidden money, we'd split the recovery, after Emily got her $250K back. One more thing, Emily said as we stood to leave. David doesn't know I'm talking to you. Good, let's keep it that way. She held out her hand. I shook it. As I drove home, I felt something unfamiliar. Not anger, not fear, anticipation. Rachel called 2 days later. I have the asset report. You're going to want to sit down for this. I was already sitting, at my kitchen table, drinking coffee, watching the rain streak down the windows. Tell me. David has 3 bank accounts you don't know about. One's a personal checking account at a credit union. The other 2 are business accounts, one for Hendricks Stratton Development, one for something called D. Hendricks Consulting. How much? The personal account has about $80,000. The business accounts are mostly empty, less than $5,000 total. That's it? No, there's also a brokerage account, Fidelity. He opened it 2 years ago. My stomach dropped. How much? $320,000. I closed my eyes. Where did it come from? That's the interesting part. Most of it came from a home equity line of credit. He took out $200K against the house about 18 months ago. The rest is from bonuses and side consulting work. He took out a loan against my house. Technically, your house. Both names on the deed. But yes. Without telling me. Without telling you. I was gripping the phone so hard my hand hurt. What did he use the money for? Stocks, mostly. Tech stocks. Nvidia, Tesla, some crypto. He's up about 60%. So he gambled with my equity. Essentially, yes. I stood up and paced. Can I touch that account? In a divorce? Yes. It's community property. You're entitled to half, at minimum. What about the HELOC? You're responsible for half the debt. But since he took it out without your knowledge, you might be able to argue he should cover it entirely. A judge might agree, especially given the fraud. And if he doesn't pay? Then the lender forecloses on the house. My house. Your house. I stopped pacing. Rachel, I need you to file for divorce. She was quiet for a moment. Are you sure? Yes. Okay. I'll draft the petition. We'll file Monday. And I want full financial discovery. Every account, every asset, every transaction for the last 3 years. Done. And Rachel? Yeah? I want the house, and I want him to pay back the HELOC. All of it. I'll do everything I can. I hung up and called Emily Stratton. He has money, I said when she answered. A lot of it. How much? $320,000 in a brokerage account, hidden from me. She whistled. That's my investment right there. Plus $80,000 in a personal account. Better and better. Can you get it? I'm filing for divorce. My attorney will subpoena everything. Good. I'll file my lawsuit next week. We'll hit him from both sides. He's going to panic. Let him. Panicked people make mistakes. I smiled. I was hoping you'd say that. On Monday morning, Rachel filed the divorce petition. By Monday afternoon, David's attorney called her. He wants to settle, Rachel told me. Already? He's scared. He knows what's coming. What's he offering? He keeps the brokerage account. You keep the house. He'll cover the HELOC. What about the $80,000 in his personal account? He wants to keep it. Calls it separate property. It's not separate property. It's marital funds. I told him that. He's not budging. Then we go to court. Claire, we go to court, Rachel. I'm not negotiating. She sighed. Okay, I'll tell him. 2 days later, Emily's lawsuit hit. Stratton Property Group LLC versus David Hendricks and Hendricks Stratton Development LLC. Claim, breach of contract and fraudulent misrepresentation. Amount, $250 $2,000 plus damages. David called me that night. It was the first time I'd heard his voice in almost 3 weeks. Claire, we need to talk. I'm listening. This is insane. You're destroying me. I'm holding you accountable. For what? Trying to build a future for us? You stole from me, David. You forged my signature. You took out loans against my house without telling me. You gambled with my equity. You lied to your business partner. You lied to me. I made mistakes. You committed fraud, multiple counts. Claire, please, I'm begging you. Drop the divorce. Drop the financial discovery. I'll give you whatever you want. I want my house. I want you to pay back the HELOC. And I want half the brokerage account. Silence. That's everything I have, he said finally. Good. You're really going to take everything? No, David. I'm taking what's mine. You took everything first. I'm just getting it back. He hung up. The next morning, I woke up to 17 missed calls and 9 voicemails, all from David. I listened to them over coffee. The first 3 were angry. Accusations, threats, blame. The next 4 were desperate. Apologies, promises, bargaining. The last 2 were defeated, quiet, broken. "Claire, I'm sorry. I know I messed up. I know I hurt you. I didn't know what else to do. I felt like I was drowning. Like nothing I did was ever enough. I thought if I could just close one big deal, prove myself, everything would be okay. But I was wrong. I'm so wrong. Please, call me back. Please." I deleted them all. Then I went to work. A week later, David agreed to the settlement. He'd give me the house, free and clear. He'd pay off the HELOC in full. He'd split the brokerage account 50-50. And he'd pay Emily Stratton $250, $0 from his half of the brokerage account, which left him with about $30,000 and an $80,000 personal account that Rachel was still fighting for. "He's broke," Rachel said. "Officially." "Good, Claire." Her voice was soft. "Are you okay?" "I'm fine." "You don't sound fine." "I'm not sad, if that's what you're asking. I'm not mourning him. I'm just tired." "That's normal." "Is it?" "Yeah, divorce is exhausting, even when it's the right thing." I looked around my kitchen. My house, my space, mine. "It is the right thing," I said. "I know." The divorce was finalized 6 weeks later. I kept the house. David moved into a one-bedroom apartment in Renton. Emily got her money back, most of it anyway. She dissolved Hendricks Stratton Development and moved on to other projects. She sent me a bottle of wine and a note. "Thanks for the assist. Let me know if you ever want to grab lunch. E." I put the wine in my kitchen and thought about it. Maybe someday. But not yet. 2 months after the divorce, I was in my garden, pulling weeds, when my phone rang. Unknown number. I almost didn't answer, but something made me pick up. "Hello? Mrs. Hendricks?" A woman's voice, professional, clipped. "This is Claire Hendricks. My name is Special Agent Lisa Ortega. I'm with the FBI's Financial Crimes Unit. I'd like to ask you a few questions about Mark Sullivan and Vincent Kozlov." My heart stopped. "I'm sorry. Who?" "Mark Sullivan. You met with him approximately 3 months ago regarding a real estate transaction. We've been investigating Mr. Sullivan and his business partner, Vincent Kozlov, for money laundering and wire fraud." I sat down on the porch steps. "I see. We'd like to speak with you, at your convenience. We believe you may have information relevant to our investigation." "What kind of information?" "Financial records, communications, anything you may have discovered during your interactions with Mr. Sullivan." I thought about the files on my laptop, the shell companies, the structured deposits, the trail I'd traced back to Kozlov. "I might have something," I said slowly. "Excellent. Can you come to our office tomorrow? Say 10 a.m.? "I'll be there." She gave me the address and hung up. I sat on the porch for a long time, staring at my garden. The roses were blooming again. The FBI field office was a gray concrete building in downtown Seattle, the kind of place that looked like it had been designed to be forgettable. I arrived 15 minutes early, dressed in the same charcoal suit I'd worn to meet Emily Stratton. Professional, competent, calm. Inside, I felt like I was standing on the edge of something vast and dark. Special Agent Lisa Ortega met me in the lobby. She was younger than I'd expected, maybe 40, with sharp eyes and dark hair pulled back in a tight bun. She wore a navy pantsuit and no-nonsense flats. "Mrs. Hendricks, thank you for coming." "Ms. Hendricks," I corrected. "The divorce is final." "Ms. Hendricks." She shook my hand. Her grip was firm. "Follow me." She led me through a security checkpoint, down a hallway lined with office doors, and into a small conference room. A man was already waiting inside, older, maybe 55, with gray hair and tired eyes. "This is Special Agent Robert Chen," Ortega said. "He's been leading the investigation into Vincent Kozlov's organization." Chen nodded at me. "Ms. Hendricks, please, sit." I sat. They sat across from me, Ortega pulled out a digital recorder and set it on the table. "Do you mind if we record this?" she asked. "Not at all." She pressed record. Interview with Claire Hendricks, November 15th. Present are Special Agent Lisa Ortega and Special Agent Robert Chen. She looked at me. "Ms. Hendricks, can you tell us about your interactions with Mark Sullivan?" I took a breath. Then I told them everything. The sale of my house, David's forged signature, the meeting with Sullivan at Slate Coffee, the financial records I'd found, the shell companies, the structured deposits, the $2 million flowing through Sullivan Holdings LLC. Chen took notes. Ortega watched me, her expression unreadable. When I finished, Chen leaned back in his chair. "You traced the money back to Kozlov?" "Yes, through a series of limited partnerships that own commercial properties in Tacoma and Spokane. The ownership structure was deliberately obscure, but the patterns were clear." "And you did this on your own?" "I'm a forensic accountant. It's what I do." Ortega and Chen exchanged a glance. "Ms. Hendricks," Ortega said carefully, "did you share this information with anyone else?" "Only Mark Sullivan. I used it to leverage him into withdrawing from the sale." "You blackmailed him." I met her eyes. "I negotiated with him." Chen smiled slightly. "That's one way to put it." "Am I in trouble?" I asked. "No," Ortega said. "You're not. But we need to ask, do you still have those records?" "Yes, all of them." "We'd like copies. Everything you found." "Of course." I pulled a flash drive from my purse and set it on the table. I brought them with me. Ortega picked up the drive and looked at it like I'd just handed her a winning lottery ticket. "You came prepared." "I'm always prepared." Chen plugged the drive into his laptop and started scrolling through the files. His eyebrows rose. "This is comprehensive." "Thank you." "How long did this take you?" "A few hours." He looked up at me. "You did this in a few hours?" "Like I said, it's what I do." Ortega leaned forward. "Ms. Hendricks, I'm going to be blunt. The information you've compiled here is extremely valuable to our investigation. We've been building a case against Kozlov for 3 years, but he's careful. Very careful. He uses intermediaries, shell companies, offshore accounts. Exactly what you've documented here." "So what happens now?" I asked. "Now we use this to get warrants, bank records, wiretaps, surveillance. We build the case brick by brick until we have enough to take him down." "How long will that take?" 6 months, maybe a year." "And Sullivan?" "Sullivan's small time," Chen said. "He's a facilitator. We'll flip him, get him to testify against Kozlov in exchange for a reduced sentence." "Will he do it?" "He doesn't have a choice. If he doesn't cooperate, he's looking at 20 years for money laundering and wire fraud." I nodded slowly. "And my ex-husband? David?" Ortega shook her head. "We don't believe he was involved in the laundering operation. He was just a useful idiot, someone Sullivan could exploit to move money through a legitimate real estate transaction. David probably had no idea what he was really part of." I thought about that. David, so eager to close a deal, so desperate to prove himself, walking straight into a criminal conspiracy without even realizing it. It almost would have been funny if it wasn't so pathetic. "Is there anything else you need from me?" I asked. "Just one more thing," Ortega said. "We may need you to testify, at trial. Would you be willing to do that?" I didn't hesitate. "Yes." "Good." She stood and held out her hand. "Thank you, Ms. Hendricks. You've been incredibly helpful." I shook her hand, then Chen's, and left. As I walked out of the building, back into the gray Seattle morning, I felt something shift inside me. For months, I'd been fighting, clawing back what was mine piece by piece, my house, my dignity, my life. But now I realized I'd done more than that. I'd taken down a criminal organization, and I'd done it without throwing a single punch. 3 weeks later, the story broke. FBI raids offices of Sullivan Development LLC in major money laundering investigation. The article was front-page news, photos of agents carrying boxes out of Sullivan's office, quotes from an unnamed FBI spokesperson about an ongoing investigation into organized crime and financial fraud. Mark Sullivan was arrested and charged with 12 counts of money laundering, wire fraud, and conspiracy. Vincent Kozlov was arrested the same day at his estate in Bellevue. The photos of him being led away in handcuffs went viral. I read the article 3 times, sitting at my kitchen table drinking coffee. Then I went outside and watered my garden. David called that night. I almost didn't answer, but curiosity got the better of me. "Hello? Did you see the news?" His voice was shaking. I saw it. "Claire, they arrested Sullivan and Kozlov. The guy Sullivan was working for. He's a mobster. I almost sold our house to a mobster." "You did sell our house to a mobster. The sale just didn't go through. Because of you." "Yes, because of me." He was quiet for a long moment. "You saved me." "I didn't save you, David. I saved myself. You just happened to benefit." He exhaled. "I'm sorry for everything. I know I screwed up. I know I hurt you. And I know you probably never want to talk to me again. But I just wanted to say, thank you." I looked out the window at the garden. The roses were in full bloom now. Deep red, bright yellow, soft pink. They were beautiful. "You're welcome," I said quietly. "Do you think—" He paused. "Do you think we could ever—" "No. Right. Of course not. I just thought—" "Goodbye, David." I hung up, and I blocked his number. 2 months after that, Emily Stratton invited me to lunch again. Same place. Canless, same window table, same view of Lake Union, now glittering in the winter sunlight. "You look good," she said when I sat down. "Thank you. So do you." She smiled. "I wanted to thank you for everything. The FBI contacted me about Sullivan. They asked if I'd be willing to testify." "Are you?" "Absolutely. That bastard cost me $250. Zero. I want to see him go to prison. You got most of it back." "Most isn't all." She sipped her wine. "But that's not why I asked you here." "Why did you?" She pulled a folder from her bag. "I have a proposal for you." I raised an eyebrow. "Another business venture?" "In a way." She opened the folder. Inside were architectural drawings, financial projections, market analyses. "I'm developing a property in Ballard. Mixed use. Residential on top, retail on the ground floor. It's a $15 million project." "Congratulations." "I want you to be my forensic accountant." I blinked. "What?" "I need someone I can trust. Someone who's smart, thorough, and won't screw me over. Someone who knows how to find hidden problems before they become disasters." She leaned forward. "That's you, Claire." "I already have a job." "I know, and I'm offering you a better one. Consultant, contractor, whatever you want to call it. You'd review all my deals, vet all my partners, audit all my transactions. I'd pay you $150 an hour, plus a percentage of any fraud or mismanagement you uncover." I stared at the folder. "That's generous. You saved me $250,000 and helped put a money launderer in prison. I'd say you've earned it." I looked up at her. "Can I think about it?" "Take all the time you need." She slid the folder across the table. "But Claire, I really hope you say yes." I thought about it for 3 days. On the 3rd day, I called her. "I'm in," I said. "Excellent." I could hear the smile in her voice. "When can you start?" "Next week." "Perfect. I'll send over the contracts." I hung up and looked around my kitchen, my house, my space, the place I'd fought so hard to keep. It felt different now, not just like a home, like a beginning. 6 months later, Mark Sullivan pleaded guilty to 8 counts of money laundering and conspiracy. He was sentenced to 12 years in federal prison. In exchange for his cooperation, he testified against Vincent Kozlov, providing detailed records of every transaction, every shell company, every fraudulent deal. Vincent Kozlov was convicted on 23 counts of racketeering, money laundering, wire fraud, and conspiracy. He was sentenced to 35 years in federal prison. I didn't attend the trial, but Special Agent Ortega called me after the verdict. "We won," she said, "thanks to you. I just gave you the information. You gave us the map. We followed it. And we took down one of the biggest money laundering operations in the Pacific Northwest." She paused. "You ever think about working for the Bureau?" I laughed. "No, but thank you." "Well, if you change your mind, you have my number." I hung up and smiled. A year after the divorce, I was sitting on my front porch, drinking coffee, watching the sunrise, when Rachel's car pulled into the driveway. She got out, holding a box of donuts and 2 lattes. "I come bearing gifts," she said. "What's the occasion?" "No occasion. I just wanted to see you." She sat down next to me and handed me a latte. "How's the consulting business?" "Good. Really good. Emily has me reviewing 3 new deals this month. I'm busier than I've ever been." "And you're happy?" I thought about it. Was I happy? A year ago, I would have said I didn't know what happiness looked like. I'd been so focused on fighting, on surviving, on clawing back everything I'd lost. But now, "Yeah," I said. "I am." Rachel smiled. "Good, you deserve it." We sat there for a while, drinking coffee, eating donuts, watching the neighborhood wake up. A jogger passed by. A dog barked. A car started. Normal life. Quiet life. My life. "Can I ask you something?" Rachel said. "Sure." "Do you ever think about him? About David?" I looked at the garden. The roses were dormant now, waiting for spring. But the structure was still there. The beds I'd built, the soil I'd amended, the roots I'd planted. "Sometimes," I said, "but not the way I used to. I don't think about what we had. I think about what I learned." "And what did you learn?" I smiled. "That I'm stronger than I thought. That I don't need anyone to protect me. That I can rebuild anything, even myself." Rachel nodded. "That's a good lesson." "It is." We finished our coffee. Rachel left. I stayed on the porch watching the sun climb higher, feeling the warmth on my face. Update 1. A few people have asked what happened to David. The truth is, I don't know much. We don't talk anymore. I blocked his number, deleted him from social media, cut every connection. But Rachel heard through a mutual friend that he's working for a small property management company in Everett. Entry-level position. He lost his real estate license after the Sullivan investigation. Turns out being involved in a money laundering scheme, even tangentially, is bad for your professional credentials. He's renting a studio apartment, drives an old Honda, lives alone. I don't feel bad for him. I don't feel good about it either. I just feel nothing. He made his choices. Now he's living with them, just like I'm living with mine. Update 2. Emily's development project in Ballard is almost finished. It's beautiful, sleek, modern, with floor-to-ceiling windows and rooftop terraces. The retail spaces are already leased. The residential units are selling fast. She asked me to come see it last week. We stood on the rooftop looking out at the city, and she turned to me. "None of this would have happened without you," she said. "You would have figured it out." "Maybe, but it would have taken longer and cost more." She smiled. "You have a gift, Claire, for seeing through bullshit, for finding the truth, no matter how buried it is. It's just pattern recognition. It's more than that. It's instinct." I thought about that. Instinct. Maybe she was right. Maybe I'd always had it. I just hadn't trusted it. Not until I had to. Update 3. I got a letter last month from Mark Sullivan. He's in a federal correctional facility in Oregon, medium security. He'll be eligible for parole in 8 years. The letter was handwritten, 3 pages. He apologized, said he never meant for things to go the way they did, that he got in over his head with Kozlov, that he was scared, that he made terrible choices. He said he didn't blame me for what happened, that I did what I had to do, that he respected that. He asked if I could ever forgive him. I read the letter twice, then I threw it away. Not out of anger, not out of spite, just because I didn't need it. Forgiveness isn't something you give to someone else. It's something you give to yourself. And I'd already forgiven myself, for trusting David, for ignoring the signs, for staying too long. I didn't need to forgive Mark Sullivan. I just needed to move on. Update 4. My garden is thriving. I added a new section last spring, native plants mostly. Salal, Oregon grape, red flowering currant. Things that belong here. Things that don't need much maintenance. I like working in the garden. It's quiet, meditative. I can think clearly out there. Last week, I was pruning the roses when my neighbor, Mrs. Chen, came over. "Your garden is beautiful," she said. "Thank you." "You did all this yourself?" "Yes," she smiled. "You're very strong." I looked at the beds I'd built, the plants I'd nurtured, the space I'd created. "Yes," I said. "I am." Final update. It's been 2 years since David sold the house. 2 years since I discovered the forgery, confronted Mark Sullivan, took down a money laundering operation, and rebuilt my life from the ground up. People ask me sometimes if I have any regrets. I don't. Not about the divorce, not about the fight, not about any of it. Because here's what I learned. When someone tries to take something from you, your home, your dignity, your sense of self, you have 2 choices. You can let them, or you can fight back. I fought back. I used every skill I had, my training, my intelligence, my stubbornness, and I took back what was mine. And in the process, I discovered something I didn't know I had. Power. Not the kind that comes from money or status or someone else's approval. The kind that comes from knowing who you are, what you're capable of, what you refuse to accept. David thought he could control me. He thought he could make decisions for me, forge my signature, sell my house, and I'd just go along with it. He was wrong. Mark Sullivan thought he could intimidate me into silence. He was wrong too. They all underestimated me, and they all paid the price. I still live in the house. My house. The one I fought for. The one I kept. The one I'll never let go of. The mortgage is paid off now. I used some of the settlement money from the divorce to clear it early. The title is in my name. Only my name. The garden is bigger than ever. I expanded it last summer, added a small greenhouse, started growing vegetables year-round. The house is exactly what I always wanted it to be. Mine. I ran into David once, about 6 months ago. It was random, a coffee shop in Capitol Hill. I was picking up a latte before a client meeting. He was sitting alone at a corner table, staring at his phone. He saw me. Our eyes met. For a second, I thought he might come over, might try to talk to me. But he didn't. He just nodded. A small, sad acknowledgement. I nodded back. And I left. I didn't feel angry. I didn't feel satisfied. I just felt free. Emily and I still work together. She's become more than a client. She's a friend. We meet for lunch once a month, talk about projects, about life, about the future. She's teaching me about real estate development. I'm teaching her about forensic accounting. It's a good partnership. Last month, she asked if I'd ever consider investing in one of her projects. "You have the money now," she said, "and you know how to evaluate a deal better than anyone I know." I thought about it. Then I said yes. Because why not? I've spent my whole life being careful, being cautious, playing it safe. And where did it get me? Married to a man who tried to steal my house. Now I'm done playing it safe. Now I take risks. Calculated risks, smart risks, but risks nonetheless. Rachel told me recently that she's proud of me. "You've come so far," she said. "You're not the same person you were 2 years ago." She was right. 2 years ago, I was someone who let things happen to her, who made excuses, who compromised, who stayed quiet even when she knew something was wrong. Now I'm someone who makes things happen, someone who speaks up, who fights back, who refuses to settle for less than she deserves. I'm not perfect. I'm still figuring things out, still learning, still growing, but I'm doing it on my own terms, in my own house, in my own life. Sometimes, late at night, when the house is quiet and I'm sitting on the porch with a glass of wine, I think about that moment in the driveway. When David stood there, hands in his pockets, smirking, and said, "It's not your home anymore." I remember the cold shock of it, the disbelief, the rage, but mostly I remember the clarity, the absolute certainty that I was not going to let him win, and I didn't. I smiled, I walked away, and then I took everything back. Because here's the truth they don't tell you. You don't have to scream to be heard. You don't have to fight with your fists to win. Sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is stay calm, stay smart, and strike when they least expect it. David never saw me coming, neither did Sullivan, neither did Kozlov. They all underestimated the quiet woman with the forensic accounting degree and the stubborn refusal to give up. And they all learned the same lesson. Never underestimate someone who has everything to lose. Because when you have nothing left to lose, you become dangerous. And when you realize you're dangerous, you become unstoppable. My name is Claire Hendricks. I'm 34 years old. I'm a forensic accountant, a consultant, an investor, and a homeowner. I live in a house I rebuilt with my own hands. I work with people I trust. I make my own decisions. And I answer to no one. My ex-husband tried to take my home, so I took his freedom, his money, his future, and I walked away with everything. The house is mine. The life is mine. The power is mine. And no one will ever take it from me again. If you're reading this and you're in a similar situation, if someone is trying to control you, manipulate you, take what's yours, here's my advice. Don't get mad. Get smart. Document everything. Build your case. Find your leverage. And when you're ready, strike hard and strike clean. You're stronger than you think. You're smarter than they believe. And you deserve better than what they're giving you. Take it back. Whatever it is, your house, your dignity, your life, take it back. Because it's yours, and no one has the right to take it from you. I'm still here, in my house, in my garden, in my life, thriving, and I'm never leaving. This is my home, and it always will be.